I got a request to do a deep dive into CR England, and today we're going to do just that. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Trucker 219. So today we are doing a deep dive into CR England. We are doing some online research, talking to a recruiter, and we are going to find out whether it's a good idea to go to work for CR England or not. Stay tuned to the end because this one is sure to surprise you. All right, let's go. All right, so the first thing we need to do is go ahead and check out their website to see what they are all about. Let's go ahead and click this drive for us. Ooh, right away it's wanting you to fill out some information before you can do anything. Let's see if there's anything else on their website here where we can see what they're all about here. Let's check this careers. All right, so we got some stuff, some featured jobs here. Looks like a Family Dollar route dedicated. Class A truck driver out of Utah. Average per week, $1,759 a week. The top 10% of drivers earn $2,274 a week. Experience, they want more than 3 months. Home weekly. Looks about the same here. A little bit more pay is what it's showing. This seems kind of crazy for a Dollar Tree route. For $2,000. All of them are right around that. We got an Anheuser-Busch, which is a beer run. We're looking at $1,500 a week. It doesn't show any home time though on this one. So I'm guessing, well, it's showing that it's dedicated, but it's not showing how much home time. All right, so we got an over-the-road mentor. I'm guessing that's the equivalent of a driver trainer. They're also claiming to make $1,746 a week. More than 3 months of experience. So there's a potential that you could be being trained by a driver trainer that has 3 months of experience. Now, I don't know if that they actually put drivers with that little bit of experience behind the wheel to train. That's already pretty concerning right there. Okay, so we got an important disclaimer down here. Let's see what this has to say. The job information and data provided here are for informational purposes only and based in whole or in part on estimates and do not represent any type of promise or prediction of future performance or employment. Rut-row, red flags, wee-oo, wee-oo, wee-oo. We're looking out here because this is just on estimates, all of those numbers. Okay, it says past performance and the information contained here are no guarantee of future pay results, revenue, miles, or home time. No right to employment, continued employment, specific employment, or a minimum amount of miles or home time, or specific pay is guaranteed or created by this data or the use of this site. Any of the amounts in any categories on this site will not reflect actual future results. Your actual pay, mileage, and home time will vary from these numbers depending on many factors, which may include tenure-based pay raises, your fleet, how hard you work, company performance, how much you drive, among other factors. Okay, so this is an important thing that we found here, and it's basically saying that all these rates are all an estimate. There's no guarantee of anything, which, to be fair, to a degree, yes. Depending on how much you drive, whatever. This is why it's important to give them a call and find out what is actually going on. And instead of putting a cents per mile or a percentage pay or a daily rate on their website, they put averages, and the top 10% of the drivers earn this much. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a look and try to break down some numbers on this one just to see where they're at, because this seems quite crazy. All right, we're looking at this dedicated out of Missouri. It's showing an average of $1,946 per week. So let's see how many cents per mile we would have to make in order to achieve that. All right, so it's saying $1,948. For a dedicated home weekly, you're probably running 5 to 6 days. On a decent day, a truck driver can run about 400 to 500 miles per day. So let's go ahead and say 400 miles per day times 6 days a week, you're looking at 2,400 miles. $1,948 divided by 2,400 miles per week. You would have to make 81 cents per mile in order to achieve that. I gotta be real with you guys. I've been trucking for almost 9 years now. I've never seen anybody make 81 cents per mile, even with the amount of experience that I have, unless you're hauling specialized freight, meaning you're hauling fuel, you're hauling medication, you're doing a military contract. 81 cents per mile is really unheard of. Now, they said that's on average, meaning that some should make more, some should make less. But I gotta be honest, 2,400 miles per week, that's about over the road. An over the road truck driver should be making 2,500 to about 3,000, depending on the route, depending on where they're at. If you're out west and you can run, you could potentially make about 3,000 a week. I'm gonna call BS on this one, especially for a major carrier like CR England. 81 cents per mile doesn't make sense. This is the epitome of deceptive advertisement. And they put a disclaimer down here at the bottom, but who scrolls to the bottom? You see this get started and boom, you're done. You're not gonna scroll down here and check this out. Also, they're only listing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 positions here on this career opportunities page. So let's back out of this and see if we can find some reviews. Okay, so it says CR England's main terminal is located in Des Moines, Iowa. I'm scrolling through here at their locations and I'm not seeing one in Des Moines, Iowa here. So let's go ahead and click this Salt Lake City, Utah here and see what we can see on this. So we got a 1-star review here 6 months ago, so that's really recent. This company is dishonest and unethical. They self-insure their terrible truck drivers, and then they never pay out for the significant damage they cause to buildings, light poles, landscape islands, or anything else that they damage by hitting or driving over. Can't respect a company that isn't honest in their business dealing, causing damage and not paying for the cost of that damage. So this one's got a picture here. Okay, so it's showing that a bent light pole here. I'm guessing that was a driver that caused that. However, I don't see any trucks around it. All right, so we got another 1-star review here. Newbie obviously parks the wrong way on the fuel island against a red zone, goes in for 20 minutes, pulls out in front of a truck going to fuel, cuts in between parked trucks to get to an exit. What the hell, England? We got some pictures here. Okay, so he just parked on the side of the fuel island there. Oh, right up by the building here so he can get in quick. I mean, 20 minutes. I'm going to give him the red zone is the fire zone. Yeah, we probably shouldn't be parking there. However, I've had to take a dump that's mighty rushed, so I can understand that to a degree. Couple 5 stars here. Wow, I don't know where to start as there's a lot of good things to talk about. Let me start about England Premier Truck Driving School. All right, so we got a 5-star here. A month ago, I had the best time driving for the company. In hindsight, I never would have quit. They are truly the best. Okay, so a pretty simple review there. We got another 1-star. I wish I had listened to the negative reviews before attending this school. Okay, so overall, we got some 5 stars here, some 1-stars. Seems to be either 1 or 5. It doesn't have a whole lot in between there. Okay, another 1-star here. Beware, like most mega carriers, they will mark false things on your higher right DAC report, like abandonment if you leave them. I've never abandoned any load or equipment at all. That one right there is a tough one because that higher right DAC report is sent to your next employers and your employers after that. Anytime you get a new truck driving job, they'll go back and check your previous employment history. So if they're reporting false things on that report, it could impact your entire career. All right, so we're going to check out this guy's video on why he left CR England.
Why'd you leave? It's CR England, bro. I don't know, man. Different strokes for different folks. I work 4 days and I get 3 days off. And I got another baby on the way. That's what I need, bro. Just gives you a lot more time to really work on yourself and
okay, so he's talking about a new company that he's starting with that's giving him that time
work on
off.
your relationships, and CR England wasn't doing that for me anymore because they actually had something called mandatory 6 days. You had to work 6 days a week. The usual 5-day-a-week thing, straight out the window. So that wasn't even a 5-day-a-week job no more. And on top of that, I was making money, bro. Like, I'm telling you, there was points where some checks take home was probably $400 or $500 a week.
Okay, so he was talking about the money being a little rough, as well as being out for 6 days a week. Which, if you're an over-the-road truck driver, that's not much at all. But again, this is really common in trucking, that amount of time out, unless you have a local job or something, which it seems like he's transitioned into. 6 days really isn't that much. Actually, I typically recommend for anybody that's wanting to be an over-the-road truck driver to go out for a minimum of a month at a time, and then come home and spend like a 4-day weekend home. Otherwise, especially starting out, you're really not going to make much money, because they have to plan a route for you to get out, do some work, and then plan you to come back home. And that's quite difficult unless you're in like a dedicated route or something like that.
And you're talking about having to go in and work 6 days? And then you get there and you're only working what, like 5-6 hours a day for 6 days a week? Man, that. I appreciate CR England for what they did for me. I did my due diligence, man. I did over 2 years there for them. Unfortunately, they couldn't accommodate. At the end of the day, I'm still gonna recommend, a lot of people to go there. If you want to get experience, they have great trainers, great mentors, and you'll get your license through them too. So at the end of the day, it was just my time to get out of there, bro.
Yeah, I mean, 2 years spent with your first company, that's great. I mean, if you're able to last that long, that's well above what I even recommend. I suggest that people go for about 6 months to a year at their first company, and then start moving into something else, because a lot of times that'll keep you held back. So good on this guy for go ahead and moving on to something new. It sounds like he's still recommending the company for a training, so that's good to hear. So good on this guy for moving up in the world and moving up in the trucking industry, and not staying stuck in that very first company for perceived loyalty advantages that doesn't exist in the trucking world. It really doesn't. All right, so I'm not going to click on this video here just because this is his own video, and I don't want to get any copyright or take away from the attention off of his channel. It is the Carnivorous Trucker who put this video out, and it is entitled "My Nightmare CR England Training. Tell all, the trainer got a CDL 21 days before me." That is absolutely crazy. So his trainer literally had 21 days more experience than he did in order to train him. That's absolutely unacceptable. It's effectively like a 2-year-old training another 2-year-old on how to pick up a fork and eat some peas. All right, so we've done a little bit of online research. We've checked their website, looked at some reviews, and seen a couple of other videos out on YouTube. And based off of that, it's not looking very good. The reviews were pretty much split down the middle. Either it was a 5-star or a 1-star. And the 1-star stuff was pretty rough. When it comes to that website, that disclaimer at the bottom really is not a good look. If you're advertising something on your website of how much the pay should be, I would rather see you advertise it lower than what it could be than higher than what it could be. And deceptive advertisement is never okay. However, this is a very common thing in this industry, that people will put out averages instead of what it'll actually be, or a yearly salary versus a cents per mile. Just tell us what we're gonna make and we might come work for you. So as it stands right now, based off of the online research, I'm gonna go ahead and give this company a D. This is looking pretty rough right out the gate. Lots of issues with the trainers, lots of issues on the reviews. Based off of the online research, I'm clicking away right away. However, the only way we can figure this out and see what's really going on is by talking to a driver recruiter. So I'm going to try to call them right now and see what we can come up with.
Thank you for calling CR England Recruiting. CR England Recruiting.
Hi, I was calling to see if I can get some more information about your company.
And what type of route are you looking for?
Just an over-the-road position.
And how much experience do you have?
I'm fresh out of school. I just finished this past Friday.
Out of Tennessee, you said?
Yep.
Just a different department. Let me get you over to them real quick.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir.
Flex framework error. Invalid request agent settings.
Wow. Okay. So I called in to CR England to find out what the company's all about. Talked to one guy, and I told him that I was a new driver, and he said that it was a different department's problem and sent me into a hold setting to transfer to that department. I sat on hold for 10 minutes, and then it just disconnected. Let's try again.
Please listen closely as our menu options have recently changed. Thank you for calling CR England Recruiting.
CR England, this show.
Hi, I was calling to see if I can find out some more information about your company.
All right, great. And how much experience do you have?
I have no experience driving a truck other than the CDL school.
Okay, I don't have openings right now for drivers with no experience. I will have someone else to give you a call because I only need 90 days of experience because I need you to come and grab a truck and start driving on the experience side.
Okay. All right. Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll make some other calls. Thank you. Okay, so they are not taking anybody with no experience currently. Let's try one more time.
Thank you for calling CR England Recruiting. If you have filled out an application and would like to speak with a recruiter, please press 1.
Let's see if I can get them with 6 months experience with Warner.
CR England, this is Richard.
Hey, Richard. I was calling to see if I can get some more information about your company.
All right. What was the phone number on your application? Let's start there.
What was that?
What was the phone number on your application? Let's start there.
I don't have an application in currently. I was trying to get some more information before I, fill out an application to come work with you guys, as far as like pay, route, and all that fun stuff.
See, that would go back to your area and what we have to offer in your area, and then the application typically would give you some information on, like, they're not, sometimes not even a full application, but, how much experience you have so I could give you a rate. What's your zip code? Let's start off there. Let's try that. Okay, now I have an Anheuser-Busch and a PODS account. Anheuser-Busch is out for 2 weeks at a time. PODS is out for 3 to 4 weeks at a time. Anheuser-Busch averages $1,519 a week. Top performers, top 10% are coming in at $1,869 a week. PODS is out for 3 to 4 weeks at a time, on for 3 to 4 days. The average pay is $1,618 a week. Top performers are at $1,989 a week. How much verifiable tractor trailer driving experience do you have?
I currently work for Warner. I got 6 months experience with them. I went through their training and everything.
So in the first year. Okay, so for Anheuser-Busch, you would be at 57 cents per mile.
57 cents per mile. And you said what? How much was the?
57.
Yeah, I got you. What was the home time on that? I'm sorry, you're speaking really quickly. I couldn't catch you.
2 to 3 weeks out.
2 to 3 weeks out. Okay.
And for 2 to 3 days at home.
Okay. Okay. And then what is that, a dedicated route then, or is it kind of just all over the place?
It's dedicated to Anheuser-Busch, but you could be going all 48 states.
Okay.
Dedicated for us means that you are servicing only one customer. OTR, you'd be servicing several different customers.
Do you guys have any over-the-road positions?
You're already doing, not in this area, though. PODS, currently you are going all 48 states because PODS is I don't know if you've ever seen the moving containers.
Yeah.
Yeah. They strap down on the back of a flatbed.
Okay. And then what was the cents?
PODS account.
What was the cents per mile on that?
Cents per mile starting right now is 56 cents per mile because you're in your first year.
And does it go up per year by how much?
Yeah, every year anniversary you'll go up probably a penny or so. In the pods you'll go up 2 pennies once you've hit your 24th month. Because it goes from 56 to 58. On the Anheuser-Busch, 58 cents after your year, on your second year, 24 months.
Okay, so +1 +2 on that. Okay. And can I ask what the reasoning is that over the road isn't available in this area of Tennessee?
Same reason why certain things we don't your freight looks like. On the East Coast, we're predominantly doing a lot of Anheuser-Busch, which is a dedicated account. We have several accounts that might go through the East Coast. But to get you home once every month, like we require all of our drivers to be home at least once a month, if not more, that would, there's just not a lot of things moving for us in that area. For another company, very much maybe, but for us, no. Most of our freight is moving between the Midwest and West Coast.
Trying to figure out here, which side would you recommend as far as the Anheuser-Busch or the pods? What's like a typical?
It all depends on what you want to do. I mean, if you wanted to, if you know, okay with strapping down or not tarp, but strap down and drive a flatbed or a dry van or refrigerated. This is a dry van. Anheuser-Busch is a dry van. Pods is a flatbed.
So it doesn't pay more cents per mile for the extra work for a flatbed, or is there any strapping fees or anything that the driver makes?
I mean, both account requires you to secure the load. So strapping on a flatbed and not having to load or unload the flatbed or tarp it is not really as strenuous as anything different than what you're doing for Anheuser-Busch. You have to secure the load in the back of the trailer.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, but throwing straps versus stretching across from one wall to another is completely different. But that's fine. I mean, that's your guys' policy. I'm not worried about that. I was just curious.
Sorry, I'm about to jump into a meeting. If you'd like, I could call you back here in a few minutes. The meeting is about 50 minutes long. Probably 15 or 20 minutes long. All the recruiters have to go in real quick. Can I call you back here in a bit?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
All right. Give me a few minutes.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Wow. Okay. All right. So here's the situation as far as these calls go. I made 3 attempts to call them. I had to finagle my way to get to somebody to talk to. The guy was quite rude to me talking on the phone, cutting me off, not letting me ask my questions, not very understanding. And then halfway through my questioning to figure it out, he had to go to a meeting, and it wasn't important enough to stay on the call for a new driver. I am extraordinarily turned off by this company just by this phone call, and I'm not even looking at the pay. Just off of their behavior on the phone, their website, their reviews and stuff, I'm really turned off from this company straight out the gate. But for the sake of you guys learning something, let's go ahead and take a look at what they're talking about for money. And see what they got here. All right, so in my area, they don't do over-the-road positions, apparently, because most of their stuff is out west. So this might be different if you're living out west, but the only thing that I could get here living in Tennessee is 2 potential dedicated routes that are 2 to 3 weeks out on the road and 3 to 4 weeks out on the road, respectively. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this Anheuser-Busch account. They said on average, it's $1,519 a week, and I didn't even get to ask him how many miles that route ran to find this out. So we'll go ahead and figure it out for 6 days worth of work. So based off of my experience, if you're doing any beer runs, they do take quite a while to load and unload the trailer. Now that they are a dedicated company, I didn't even have the opportunity to ask the recruiter if it was a drop and hook situation before he rushed off the phone to go to some ambiguous meeting. I just can't tell you guys how frustrated I am by this. This is absolutely despicable behavior out of a company. So 1519 for the average miles per week. Let's divide that by 57 cents per mile, which is actually really good on the 57 cents per mile, especially with 6 months experience. That's actually a pretty good number. In order to achieve $1,519, you would have to run $2,665 miles for the week in order to achieve that amount of money. And if this isn't a drop and hook situation, that's not going to happen. If you're loading up or unloading at an Anheuser-Busch location, it typically takes a couple hours to get loaded and unloaded there, based off of my experience. It says it's out for 2 to 3 weeks, and I guess their company policy is that they're required to get a driver home at least once a month, which is good. That's a good thing to have. But off of that 2 to 3 weeks out, you get 2 to 3 days home. So basically their policy is every week out, you get 1 day home. So if you're out for 2 weeks, you get 2 days home. If you're out for 3 weeks, you get 3 days home, so on and so forth. Also, he said that his top drivers on that Anheuser-Busch account make $1,869 per week. Let's go ahead and divide that by the cents per mile that they were saying, which is 57 cents per mile. And you would have to run 3,278, basically 3,279 miles per week in order to achieve that number. Again, that's not true. There's no way you're running 3,278. The average over-the-road driver can make between 25 and 3,000 miles per week. Especially if you're out on the East Coast, getting to 3,000 miles alone is a challenge, let alone an extra 279 miles. It's just so unrealistic, it's not even funny. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at what they were saying for the Pods account. Now, I do have actual experience working for and with Pods. Basically, they're containers, smaller containers that go on the flatbed of the truck. You can fit between 3 and 4, and each one requires at least 2 straps. So you throw, if they have 3, you're throwing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And normally, if you're running flatbed, throwing straps across the load, you're not getting paid any extra. But as a flatbed driver, it comes with more risk. So there's a potential for things to slide off. If you have to brake hard, there's a potential for things to come flying through the cab. Anytime you're on a flatbed, you should expect more pay than what a dry van is going to make. And if you have to tarp as well, you should be charging a tarping fee to whatever company. Remember, you're their biggest asset, not the recruiters, not the company owner, not none of that. None of those people compared to the driver. So you need to set your boundaries and know your worth in the industry. Now, if you have a little bit of experience, it's really not going to get you far, but the more experience you have, the more knowledge you have, the more you can kind of throw your weight around a little bit and demand what you want as far as pay. So let's go ahead and take a look at this Pods. They were saying $1,600 per week. 1618 is actually what they said, but whatever. Divided by 56 cents per mile. And they said because I was a new driver, I was claiming 6 months of experience. I was at 56 cents per mile. They said it would go up 2 once I hit the year mark, 2 cents per mile, putting it at 58, which realistically for pay is not terrible for a starting company. Okay, so that would mean that I would have to run 2,889 miles in order to achieve that. Now, if that's going across the states, that's potentially possible to do that. That was just their average. Now let's take a look at what they were saying for their top paid drivers. They were claiming $1,989 per week. Again, this isn't take home money. This is all before taxes, but for figuring sake, let's go ahead and sort this out. Divided by 56 cents per mile is 3,551 miles per week. Again, that's unrealistic. That's not going to happen. Realistically, over the road, like I said, you're looking at 25 to 3,000 miles. So let's go ahead and figure out both of these as a realistic number, not what they're claiming, because clearly they are a big fan of false advertisement, or if nothing else, deceptive advertisement. Now let's do the realistic number. 2,500 times 57 cents per mile is $1,425 pre-tax. So after taxes, you might bring home $1,200. So the pay is decent. All right, the pay is pretty decent. Now let's go ahead and take a look at that Pods at a realistic number here. 2,500 miles per week times 56 cents per mile. Pre-tax, you're looking at $1,400. So pay-wise, they're not paying bad. However, pay isn't everything. If you call up your dispatcher and they're giving you a hard time every turn, every person so far that I've talked to on the phone has either been definitively rude to me or, if nothing else, a little short-tempered and right to the point. And I understand they have other things to do, but if their job is a recruiter, they should make a driver feel comfortable on coming onto their company. All right, so it's now been over 24 hours since they said that they would call me back, and they haven't called me back. And unfortunately, not being able to talk to them, I wasn't able to get a recommendation for a driver to talk to. And my efforts online to find somebody to talk to have been for naught. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to talk to a driver to find out their personal experience. So all I have to rely on is the online information and my brief little 5-minute conversation with that recruiter that turned up to be not much of any information at all. And the truth of the matter, sometimes that's all you have to go off of. So not everybody has access to a driver. Not everybody takes the time to do the online research, and not everybody calls the recruiter and asks them the detailed questions. So the limited information that I have is what I have to go off of. And unfortunately for a lot of new drivers, that's all you guys will have to go off to. So I wish I could give you a little bit deeper dive talking to a driver and more time with the recruiter to find out all the information. It's just not going to be possible on this video. But here's what I'll do. If you've worked for CR England in the past and you want to reach out to me and tell your story, I'll add a part 2 to this video. And you can do that by shooting me an email at thetrucker219@gmail.com. So based off of the research that we've done, based off of the online reviews, all the online research that we've done, as well as talking to the recruiter and trying to get a hold of CR England themselves to find out some more information from them, I'm sad to report that this is the first company that I've done a deep dive on that no, I would not go to work for this company. Despite their cents per mile being on the higher end for a 6-month experienced driver, I have no guarantee that they are going to get me those miles. And unfortunately, a little bit more time with the recruiter could have given me those answers. But they found it more important to go to that meeting and get off of the phone with the driver and never call them back than to sit on the phone with the driver for a few extra minutes, answer some questions that could have been the deciding factor on whether to or not to go to work for them. And the few people that I've talked to over there were pretty rude and short with me and trying to hurry up and get off of the phone. And I've seen enough stuff negatively in the reviews as well as other online research that turns me off from the company, and I do not want to go work for them, and I wouldn't recommend you do it either. Now, this could be changed by a conversation with a driver or if they were to call me back, but unfortunately we don't have that. And in business, it's always good to leave a good first impression on anybody, and this was the worst impressions that I've got out of any trucking company I've done a deep dive on thus far. All right, y'all, that's going to be it for this one. Thanks for taking the time to watch my video. If you wouldn't mind, like, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you really enjoyed this video, I've done more deep dives on other companies such as Warner and Knight Transportation, and you could check those out in the playlist right here. All right, bye.